What's up, everybody? I figured today I'm going to take a note out of the Ben Stoker YouTube master plan and just film in my hotel room on my laptop. So if it sounds weird, it looks weird, that's why. I apologize. Traveling right now. But let's go over USPSA Electric Boogaloo, my second competition, and all the beautiful problems I had. So stick around, we'll get into that, and you can laugh at me because there will be a lot of laughing. All right, so did my first competition, did a video on that. I'm hooked. This problem solving while shooting it's good. If you ever thought about getting into it, I highly advise it. It really shows you a lot of the stuff that you kind of gloss over when you're training yourself or doing certain types of trainings, because it's problem solving with extra steps, and you get to shoot guns. So to prep for this, I did a lot of dry firing. Or at least what I thought was a lot of dry firing, but wasn't enough dry firing. So this first one here is a shoot house. I actually showed up a little later than I wanted to. I got to walk all the stages, but I didn't really get to spend as much time as somebody like me needs at the stages to really understand them. And I was cold. So the excuses are already starting, and don't worry, they will not stop.
Are you ready? Stand by.
So I'd like to stop right here and point out that you can see there are still two steel plates up in the very back end of this course of fire. Something weird happens to them. Confused because one of those plates is already down. It was the first run of the day. I probably should have dry fired some more at the safety table. Just things weren't flowing really well. I was moving kind of weird, and I was having a hard time getting my sight picture right. Just something was off. Couldn't really figure it out. Other than that, went well. I think I had a decent stage plan. I wasn't moving as fast as I needed to move, but also, I'm slow and I'm kind of gangly, so that was probably one of my better runs of the day, and then it all just goes gloriously downhill from there. All right, so this one was it's kind of a fun one. It's more of you're moving side to side a lot. Had steel, and steel it makes a fool out of all of us. So it was a fun challenge. I decided to go left or right just to make it easier to, reload. I'm right-handed, so I usually turn the gun in like this. So I get the reload. I'm less likely to break that 180 rule.
I load my own bullets to 127.
There. So after this run, I had, malfunctions with the gun. I had a problem finding my dot, especially there at the end. I knew where the dot should be, but I just couldn't find it. So I went over to the safety table, and the inside of my slide was just caked with probably too much oil on my part, and being I probably haven't cleaned this. Well, that was the first time I really cleaned it this year. It was just full of a lot of junk. So ran that one pretty slow. I let the problems get to me. Didn't stick with my game plan. Didn't reload fast enough. Also, I was trying to do the stupid thing of changing my reload without drilling my dry fire reload. So that was not smart at all, because it made me mess up instead of just relying on what I, know and have drilled in. So I got 24 alphas, 6 Charlies, 1 Delta, 1 Mike, and 1 no shoot at 41 seconds. That's pretty bad. So I think that is my worst showing of the event. Ran out of bullets.
If you are finished.
So I don't know if you saw me kind of shake my head there at the end. It's just having a hard time with the dot. Just things weren't. I could find it, and then I'd really have to look for it, and it just wasn't where it needed to be. And sometimes it would be on, sometimes it wouldn't, or I felt like it was on, felt like it wasn't. I messed up that reload myself, so I was kind of disappointed with that run.
Ready. Stand by.
I'm going to stop it right there. I don't know if you noticed how long it took me to do that first shot. Just remember that. It's for later. At this point, I'm melting down. I missed 4 shots in a row. Like, what's going on? Once again, I just can't find my dot. It's like, it's there, it's not there. So at this point, I'm starting to go back to my iron sights and just not use the dot. The problem is sometimes the dot will pop on, and then in my monkey brain, I'm like, oh, iron sights, dot's on. I'm going to use the dot. So I use the dot, maybe get off a shot, dot disappears. And then I have to go back to my iron sights, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you're kind of retarded like me, that is a whole lot. So you're sitting there fighting this process back and forth in your head, trying to get good shots, and it's not the perfect thing. I went back over to the safety table, and I was looking at my dot, and something wasn't working right. Like, it just wasn't, it should have been there, right? Like, my iron sights are lined up, the dot should be there. So I did a little experiment, and I just started hitting it. And about half the time it'd turn off, then about half the time it'd turn back on. So at this point, I realized that my dot is not reliable, and I'm basically shooting irons. So it's very fortunate that the qualifier for this, is it a round? Is it a shooting thing? Whatever, for this event, there we go. We'll call it an event. I don't know. I'm sure there's some technical term for it, but the way it worked out is the qualifier was our last stage of the day. So technically, that should be great for us, right? Like, we're the most warmed up, tuned up. We've worked out all the kinks. So at this point, I realized that, my sight's not working. Going into the qualifier, I'm going to do the best I can. I know that, like, really, this is the one that matters on a level 1 competition. So it was really cool. It was, engage 2 sets of steel, 1 cardboard target, reload, do that again on the center one, shooting through the center, a little cutout, and then, shoot to the right. So basically, your left, center, right, and me being a little bit taller, I kind of had to like hunker down. You had to keep your legs in there, so it's kind of an awkward position, but I do like those. They are fun. So let's see how it goes. So I did okay. I could have been a lot better. My reloads were molasses slow. Getting the target acquisition was a little difficult going to iron sights, and then, like I said, the dot would pop on. So then I'm like, oh, I'm going to use the dot, and then I'd use the dot, and then I'd do the shot and wait for it to come back, and there's no dot. So then I have to go back to iron sights, and then the dot would turn on. It's like, oh, and then I'd reorientate to the dot. It's just horrible. So on that one, it was 1889, which is super slow. 9 alphas, 3 charlies, a hit factor of 2.8. Luckily, I did improve. I got my last qualifier, I got like a 39, and this one I got a 40. So anyway, thanks for making it this far. My very early competitive shooting journey. I may throw in some steel challenge coming up. I really want to do the I think it's pistol carbine. It's kind of USPSA, but you're using full-size carbine and pistol. That looks really fun. So maybe if I do that, I'm going to do it in full kit so that I have more excuses, because if there's one thing I'm known for, it's having all the excuses. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.